Peace, and welcome to 10 audio samples from Sonic the Hedgehog that sound oddly familiar. A sample is just a small portion from one source that was used in the creation of another source. It's a common practice. I have even done it myself. Now let's get this underway. First up, we have a repeat offender, Get Edgy from Sonic Rush. Listen for a voice that says, "Come on." And here is Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock, a song titled Joy and Pain. You will hear that same "Come on." This Sonic Rush theme was composed by Hideki Naganuma. If you thought you could get through a Sonic Samples episode without hearing his name, I would wonder if you have been paying attention. I think every song that I have heard from Hideki Naganuma uses multiple samples. On Twitter, I've seen him post and say he has never sampled from an actual song. Every sample he finds and uses comes from a sample library. And that's the best way to stay out of any legal trouble that may arise from uncleared samples. Up next, we have an entry from Sonic Shuffle, titled Wake Up 1. Listen to the drums. And here is Bob Marley and the Wailers, Get Up, Stand Up. You will hear those same drums right at the beginning of the song. This sample was an easy one to hear. As we stated, it's right at the beginning, and it's quite memorable. Get Up, Stand Up was written by Bob Marley and Peter Tosh. It was first released in 1973. Sonic Shuffle was released on the Sega Dreamcast in late 2000, and the soundtrack was composed by Yoshitaka Hirota. You will probably know some of his work. He did the sound design on Final Fantasy VI and VII, as well as Live Alive and Chrono Trigger, just to name a few. In our next position, we have Sonic Adventure, the theme titled Run Through the Speed Highway. Listen for some vocals that say, "Up and down and all around." And here is a sample library from Master Bits, titled Climax 9, Rhapsody Vocals Volume 2. And here is the track titled Hey Who AD.
Up and down and all around, get down.
So let me first say that there are at least two kinds of sample libraries. Type A, which uses samples. They take small samples from popular songs and have them licensed. And Type B, which uses all original content that they themselves recorded for use specifically as a sample library. I believe this one is a Type B. Those vocals are all original and okay for you to use in your own projects, as long as you purchased their library.
Up and down and all around, get down.
Our lucky number 7 entry comes from Sonic Rush, a theme titled JJ Rocket. Just listen for a vocal sample that says Genjela. Here is the National Percussion Group of Kenya and their song titled Genjela Runyenje. And pardon me for butchering that. Another track produced by Hideki Naganuma. He kinda chopped this one up a little bit. Instead of using the whole world Genjela, he kinda cuts it short so it's just Genje. And then maybe he thought it sounds like JJ, so that's what he named the song. And I can't really make out the rest of the words in the song, as I don't speak Swahili. But if anyone does, please translate it for us. Up next, we have another one from Sonic Shuffle. This one titled Misconduct. Listen closely to the drums. And yet again in the series, we have James Brown. This time, it's his song titled Funky Drummer. Listen for those drums, just at a different tempo. This drum loop has been sampled a ton of times by all sorts of musicians. One source reported over 1,700 different songs that have sampled this James Brown tune. I think between this and his famous sample from Lynn Collins, that by itself was sampled 3,000 times, he has to be one of the most sampled musicians of all time. Just those two songs have been sampled nearly 5,000 times. And that's just known instances. The next entry on our list today comes from the Japanese and the Euro versions of Sonic CD. Stardust Speedway, The Good Future. Listen closely to the drums. And here is a song titled Jungle Jazz by the legendary group Kool and the Gang. So this sample was not in the US version of Sonic CD, and as a matter of fact, the entire theme is completely different. I'll give you just a little sample. This Sonic game was first released in 1993, while the Kool and the Gang song was released in 1975. If you have any trouble hearing this sample, just listen for the cowbell. It's a distinct sound that kind of stands out among the group of instruments. Our unlucky number 4 spot comes from Virtual Sonic, a track by Howard Drawson, titled Robotnik's Revenge. Listen for a vocal sample that says, "Come on." And here is Sweet Linda Divine, a song titled I'll Say It Again, and that same "Come On" sample. This entry should be popular among the hip-hop heads because this was also used in the 1991 Black Sheep song titled The Choice Is Yours. Virtual Sonic is an album produced by Howard Drawson, a versatile composer who has worked on a number of different projects, and a good mix of games. Anything from the Wu-Tang PlayStation game to some Star Trek games. In at number 3, we have our last entry from Sonic Shuffle. Coming from a track titled Feel Noisy, listen for a voice that says, "Let's go."
Let's go.
And here is the original Batman TV series. The same "Let's go," this time played at normal speed.
To the Batmobile. Let's go. Atomic batteries to power.
Clearly a sample of Adam West. His voice is quite recognizable. Even when sped up, you can still hear his pronunciation. This Batman TV series first aired in 1966 and it lasted 3 seasons. With the impact it had, it sure seems like a lot more than 3. Sonic Shuffle isn't my favorite Sonic game, but the soundtrack isn't bad. I would recommend listening to the soundtrack over playing the game. It's a much more enjoyable experience.
Let's go.
To the Batmobile. Let's go.
Our second pick today comes from Sonic CD, Dr. Robotnik's theme. Listen to those drums. And here is Stone Roses, a song titled Fool's Gold. Another track on our list today that is not on the American soundtrack. A lot like the previous Sonic CD entry, it's completely different. The Japanese soundtrack was composed by Naofumi Hataya. This is the same as the European soundtrack. The American version was delayed a few months to have a new soundtrack composed by Spencer Nielsen. He composed one of my favorite soundtracks, Echo the Dolphin, on Sega CD. Both of the Sonic CD soundtracks have their positive sides. I like all the samples and the energy of the original, but I also like Spencer's compositions and his creativity. Many of his soundtracks are hidden gems. And our number one selection today comes from Sonic Rush, Wrapped in Black. Listen to the basic melody. And here is the video game Grandia, the Snow Village Lane theme. Listen for that same little tune. I believe this submission to be a coincidence. I don't think Hideki Naganuma sampled the Grandia track, but I am convinced it came from a sample library. So you may see this one again in a future episode if we can find out which one exactly it is, and I am confident we will. Both have the same distinct sound, but Sonic Rush speeds it up while Grandia seems to be closer to the original tempo. But that could be changed as well. We will find out once we find the original sample. We do like our samples episodes. It's fun searching for samples that you have heard in many songs. It's not always fun when it's from a sample library that's 6 hours long, but hey, it is what it is, and we do it for you, the viewer. Last but definitely not least, shout out to gold level patrons Bearsona, Quantum X, and Chris Hayes. I am ICC. Thanks for watching. Peace.